Hey guys, just coming on here again to do a little bit of a midweek recap and just go over the stocks that I had mentioned for this week so far. One thing to keep in mind is that we are in the middle of earnings season. So that means that if a company comes out with a surprising earnings, whether it's surprisingly good or surprisingly bad, that creates gaps and it really messes with the charts, especially when we're looking at the long term and the midterm time frames like we are with my charts with the weeklies and the monthlies. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. So nonetheless, one of the ones that I mentioned for Monday was this CSX. I like this breaking out to the upside. You'll see we had an inside month, and we've come back down and given we've broken out and then come back down and given us a buy opportunity. Not much has changed when I first mentioned this for Monday's trading day. I think this is still a decent buying opportunity to potentially close this gap back up. The next one on my list here would be LUV. Now, what I liked about this one, I think I wanted to short this. The reason being is on the weekly chart, we had an inside week, and we broke down, and then we've actually come back up. And the thing here is that we're still in this candle, so we don't know what this candle will look like. We still have 2 more trading days. This will be very telling what happens here. I do think that this is potentially a decent area to short this back down because we did initially break down from here. On the daily doesn't really tell us too much. There's no reason why we have come back up here. It's just kind of like a normal area of resistance that we've come back up to. But because of this weekly, it'll be very interesting to see how this candle finishes off. But I am looking at this to break down a little bit more, to the 28 range, rather than move up to the 33 range. Another one that I had mentioned was EW. Let's see what I was looking at here. I think we were in the middle. We had an inside month in which we have now broken out of. Which way did we break out first, though? Let's see here. It looks like recently there's been a lot of price action. So yeah, Monday when I had first mentioned it, looks like we broke out both to the upside and then we broke out to the downside here. So because we didn't close on a healthy note here, I don't know where this stock's looking to go. This is going to be one that I'm going to be looking at to see how it closes on the monthly. If we can come up and close above like 71, 72, then I'd be looking at, like, okay, we can play this one up a bit. I think there's a gap here. Looking back on the daily, there's a gap that we can close all the way up to 85. But I don't know what's going on with this one, especially with this week's trading action. We could easily break down, on the monthly. Tomorrow's the last day of the month, so it'll be interesting to see how that breaks. Yeah, it'll be interesting to look at to keep watch on. And then the last one that I was looking at was MHK. This is one that I was looking at to see. I was wanting to actually go long on this one because we had originally broken out on the monthly, and then of course we got that earnings. Sorry, we had an and we went through earnings, and that was one of the gap downs that I had mentioned to you guys. And with one trading day left, I kind of expected this to move up pretty quick and try to close this gap. It'll be interesting to see what it does tomorrow. If it does want to try to close that gap tomorrow, it would be a very healthy sign on the monthly, because that would mean that we've come back up and we've closed right around here on the monthly chart, which would give a decent signal that we could push up farther. So that's when it's going to be an interesting one to watch for tomorrow. IVZ I had mentioned for Tuesday. On the monthly, I think I was liking this one because we had an inside month in which we broke out of, followed by a couple months where we came down, tested these levels, and came back up, came down, tested these levels, came back up again, and then we've continued to break out, and we haven't had like a big surge on the breakout yet. This is a quick look at the weekly chart and then the daily chart. Yeah, my same thesis is still intact for this one. I do think that we can definitely break out in this one and look to go to you know, 20, at least the $20 range or so. And TFC is a little bit interesting one. I had put this on the radar for Tuesday. We had an inside. This is the daily chart, so we had an inside day, and then I guess we gapped down at open, and then had an outside candle. So that's kind of an interesting price action. Looking at the monthly, we did have an inside month, followed by, it looks like we just broke on the I think when I mentioned this, we had a third inside month on a row, and I was saying this might be a good area to buy in preparation of breaking out, and it looks like we just did that today. The weekly doesn't tell us too much. Oh no, we broke out here. So yeah, we come back down. We're playing with this area here, but because we broke out on the monthly, we did break this last month's high. I am looking at this one to continue up. You know, price targets that I'm looking at is probably at least like 46 to 50 range. Let's have a look at the daily. Yeah, I'm looking at 50 for a price target on this one. And then we also had NWS, which I had mentioned for Tuesday. And this one, I was looking, I think I was looking to go long on this one. I don't think we had an outside month here. We might have been, I think we were inside, and then we were currently on an inside month. And I was mentioning that this might be a good area to buy in preparation for a breakout to the upside. And then I think that's just what we had done exactly the day after the day that I mentioned it. You'll see we closed on Monday at 28.24, and then we continued to break out. So we kind of already had that breakout that I was expecting, and it's kind of come back down. And because so this is already broken, because we don't have an inside month, my original thesis is not intact for this one necessarily. If you had bought when I had originally mentioned, you would have had a solid 5% day here on Tuesday, and that would have been a very successful day. And then just try to sell that, get out for a quick profit on that one. But because, like I said, because my original thesis was that we were gonna stick with an inside month here and then have a blow up, and we already had that somewhat of a blow up already. My original thesis is now no longer intact. And then for today's watch list, I had AME. This is the monthly. I think what I was looking at on this one was this monthly monthly candle here is a very healthy one. We came down, took out a bunch of lows, and closed in a healthy style. Weekly, not a whole lot going on the weekly. And the daily, not a whole lot going on in the daily either. So my original thesis is still intact for this one. I think what I was looking with this one was a bit of a different play. I think I was looking at this this divergence here. The fact that we're trending down here, but we're trending up on the RSI. That's normally a sign that a bounce, that we can bounce up. And because I really like this candle here, I'm looking at this as a buying opportunity to get up to at least 185 by 186 area. And then FMC. This is the monthly. Let's see what we do today. This one, I believe I was actually looking to short this one because of the weekly. We had an inside week in which we had broken down, and if you look, we were actually right around here yesterday in the $60.50 range. And I was looking at this one to short, to 58, potentially down to 55. And then we had an earnings on this one, and it was a surprise, and it was a optimistic earnings call. So this one shot up. Now, because I was looking at the weekly, and we are in the middle of this candle. So it'll be interesting to see where this candle finishes off. If we come back down and we close anywhere in the 62 range, I'm definitely looking at this one to continue to collapse down to, 54, 50 range. So it could be an area to short here, and then come all the way back down to the 49. But you gotta keep an eye out on this weekly chart and see where we do close this week. And then my last one that I had for today, today's trading was this LLY. I think did they also have an earnings? Yeah. So it looks like they also had an earnings today, which really is wonky. I was looking at this one. I don't think I was looking at anything. Oh, you know what? This was an inside. This hadn't broken down. I think we were on the third inside month in a row, and I was saying this is not a bad area to buy in preparation because we had an outside month, which means we're either going to continue to go down or continue to go up from here. And I was looking to buy in preparation for us to continue to break out up to like all-time highs above 1,000, just looking at the chart. So we had a bad earnings call, it looks like today, in which we gapped down, and then the price started going down, but it looks like we were able to close this gap, and we're going to look to continue to close this gap. So tomorrow is the last day of trading in the monthly candles. That's one thing to keep in mind. So it'll be interesting to see where this candle closes. If this can go back up and close around like 900, that's a very healthy sign that we can continue going up. And the fact that we bought the heavy volume, we bought it all the way back up. I could see this to continue to close tomorrow. So it could be a potential buying opportunity. So that's what I have for you guys today. Feel free to leave a comment, ask me any questions you have. If there's any charts that you want me to look at and give you my opinion on, please leave a comment and let me know. I am just starting out this whole YouTube journey, just kind of sharing with you guys what I see, and happy to help out anybody I can. So please subscribe and leave a comment. It will really help.